What is up, world? You are in tune to a joint podcast with my man JC Cowboys Network. What is popping?
Hey, what's popping, man? Hey, yo, we back in action. It's always great to get on and hop on the show with you, man. What's good with you, bro?
Man, I'm super excited. Me and Tom, man, we've had these long conversations to where, especially after the Packers game, we've had these long conversations to where it's like, man, where do we go from here and how? Like, how do we get to where we're going? And I think that's where we're about to, kind of explore. We're about to jump into this and really explore, what's next for Cowboy Nation, man. I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna allow JC and Tom to go in because I got so much to say. I don't want to overtake that. So What we're gonna do right now, man, is JC, man, talk to me, man. How are you feeling after that loss? And how do you feel about what's going on in Cowboy Nation?
Man, it's crazy, man. Shout out to everybody on this side too. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to you, Mod. Thank you so much for having me on this show. Shout out to Captain Rob. What's good, Captain Rob? What's going on, everybody in the chat, man? What's good? What's good? It's Cowboys for life. But the thing is, man, when you think about this type of team and the type of skill sets that they have all throughout this team, from offense, defense, and special teams, when you look at the culture, the big thing that me and you were talking about is the culture. Like looking at what Dallas has done throughout this whole season, what they have done throughout the past. The time should be now at this point now, because when you think about guys like Dak Prescott, when you think about all this talent that you got on this team, these guys are not getting any younger. And it was hard, bro. This was a hard pill to swallow, just seeing the Green Bay Packers and the way that they played us and the way that they schemed on us. At this point now, like, I know that these guys are not getting any younger, but they got to step up, bro. It is critical right now. And it was hard. It was hard to see this type of game and, creating content. I know it's so much energy that's going left and right when you're going on these podcasts and creating content. But we love the Dallas Cowboys, but they cannot continue to keep letting us down, bro. And it was painful to see things like that. But I just think that, with this type of talent that we have, if we can just get some more players out there, I think that we can be able to compete. But right now, it still seems like something's wrong, bro.
It does. It really does. And, we're going to talk about the second piece of what we think is wrong after we hear from Tom. Tom, how did you feel about this loss at Green Bay, man?
Awful. I don't know. So was it 2009, the 34-3 beat down to the Vikings? Felt kind of similar to that. You guys remember that loss, right?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
34-3 beat down. This is a top 5 all-time worst moment in the history of the franchise, as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. There was the 44-6 beat down at the end of the regular season. I think that was maybe 2010 or something like that to the Eagles. It was a win and win or go home. Win in the end type game. This loss was I would put up there with both of those losses. I mean, I don't think it's a personnel issue, and I don't know if we want to get into that right now, in terms of what exactly it was that went wrong. There's a lot of talk about the quarterback. There's a lot of talk about Micah and the defense and the run defense, and this and that. I don't think it's a personnel issue at this point. I think it's a coaching issue, which makes it even more frustrating to me to see, them bringing back Mike McCarthy. Yeah, I mean, I'm really down about it. I'm down about it. When I get down, I want to be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, all right, well, these are the things that we do. It's it's bad right now, but this is how we get to the good place. And right now, I know it's been less than a week since that game, but I'm feeling a little hopeless right now. It's
crazy that you say that the personnel issue. I think it's a personnel issue, Mod. When you think about guys like Javon Kearse being at that free safety position, knowing that this guy is not athletic, right? He's a strong safety. He cannot turn his hips well. When you think about guys like Marquise Bell, that is a safety playing linebacker, when you're playing against those big boy offensive line, they will wash you out of play. So I think that it could be a personnel issue, Tom, in a sense, but I mean, I get it with the coaching. I think it's a mix of both, bro.
And here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's a mix of both. It's personnel, and to me, it's culture and coaching. 2 C's. And we're going to talk about culture and coaching right now because, you know, you're absolutely right when we start talking about Jaron Kearse, which is, you know, Tom and I have already talked. Jaron is about, he should be, listen, I want to get a trash bag and pack his stuff up and move him out of Dallas myself. I would just do that because, you know, Wanye Thomas deserved the time that he was on.
Jaron couldn't pay me to be on this team next year. I wouldn't let him play. I wouldn't let him play for us for free.
And that's bad.
He needs to be gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Robert Wilson said we weren't supposed to win the Vikings game at 44-6. We were supposed to win the Packers game.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Made it feel bad, made it feel worse. You know, and then Robert also said we played chance defense, not stout defense.
That's
I get it.
Take too much chance. That's the problem, bro. That's the problem.
And I will speak to this, and I'm gonna start in, and then JC, I'm gonna give it to you. Dan Quinn's been figured out, bro. He's been figured out. The game is switching to these young offensive coordinators who know how to scheme receivers open versus just playing the scheme of a defense and never really changing. Because regardless of what anybody says or feels, to me, we got out-coached. And we've been out-coached at least 4 times this year. At least 4 times. And they made no adjustments at all. None whatsoever. So talk to me about that, man. Talk to me about that, JC.
See, the thing is, man, like when you going into these games and the most important games in the playoffs, man, you want to keep like 3 or 4 different schemes in your back pocket. With Dan Quinn, when you do see guys that's playing free safety, that is a strong safety, guys that are undersized at the linebacker position, and you have players that's not setting the edge. This is the stuff that I talk about in all 22 all the time. It was a lot of times where you see guys like Stephon Gilmore, he's playing off coverage, and sometimes he's close in coverage. He's not the best athlete that he was in year 1, year 2. You know what I mean? So when you see this kind of stuff and you're playing against these young wide receivers who can be able to get to the top of their route and have you overthinking at that cornerback position and make you uncomfortable, this is how their playbook gets open. You know what I'm saying? So I say like the little things on Dan Quinn, and I'm not trying to take everything away from Dan Quinn because Dan Quinn has put in a lot of work in this league, but just like you said, bro, the adjustments is very key when it comes down to playing to these big time teams because that's exactly what these offenses are doing. So it seemed like throughout that whole game, they had the leg up on us and we just didn't figure these guys out going through it. You know what I'm saying? And I seen it early on, bro. I just wasn't feeling good about the game from the very beginning of it.
Not at all. Not at all. Tom, what do you think about that? What do you think about the coaching and us being out coached?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that's the big thing. Like, so I agree. I agree that like there are some holes, you know, like earlier, you know, when I said that I don't think it's a personnel issue, like we have holes, you know, this isn't a complete, you know, roster. Like Jaron Kearse needs to be gone. Playing him single high on Sunday, like that's just unforgivable. Like that's all by itself, like that's a fireable offense as far as I'm concerned. But like we just can't, like we can't game plan. We can't game plan with the other elite coaching staffs in this league. It doesn't seem like to me. It's like we're like George Foreman. We're like George Foreman. We can do like we can just go in 90% of the games that we play and just throw big punches, right? But as soon as we fight Ali, as soon as we get in the ring with somebody that's got a better game plan than we do, and we get smoked. Like it's what happens every single time. Like
and not beat, we get smoked.
I feel,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, get smoked. Yeah, but my thing is like when you're playing like coverage zones. The problem I have with it though, guys, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this. Like when you're playing man to man, okay, sometimes you play cover 3, cover zones, and stuff like that. But when nobody's on the same page throughout the most important game, That's the problem. When you see guys, I mean, gaping holes where Micah Parsons, he might be bluff blitzing or he's trying to get in coverage. And next thing you know, the quarterback is rolling out. He's stepping up to the quarterback. And next thing you know, you see a dig route, which is one of the cover 3 beaters, corner routes and stuff like that. This dig route, I mean, these guys were wide open. It was painful to watch, man. But Cowboys Nation, we gotta keep it real, man. We gotta keep it real. We cannot sit there and hype this up or try to cover this up. They have to figure it out. I think that this team is close, but they just more things that they got to do to try to get in position, man.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. Why would you pick a playoff game, right, to stop rushing Micah Parsons? That makes no sense. All year long, you're rushing Micah Parsons. He's rushing the passer. You're finding creative ways to get him in a hole. And then all of a sudden you drop him back in coverage on a third, and like it was third and a ways to go. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, man. It's like you really want, and there was this rumor out there that Tom and I talked about that Dan Quinn was trying to, be one and done because he's trying to get to his next job. Well, I don't think he's gonna get another job. It looks like don't nobody want him, and they see that he got pimples and warts. But
too many good coaches available right now. He won't get a job.
Facts.
It makes me cringe. And I told JC earlier, his defense is old and outdated only because you don't have a Cam Chancellor, you don't have an Earl Thomas, you don't have a middle linebacker who's a dog to be able to simulate the success that you had in Seattle. And you need all of those in that recipe of Dan Quinn's defense. We've got other pieces. Retool. Do something different. Don't just be a one horse pony where I can just rush the pass and I'm excellent at that, but I can't stop the run. You know what I'm saying? And to your personnel issues, Osa's great. Osa's really good, but he's not a run stopping defensive tackle. He's not.
I like Osa because the main reason why I like Osa so much is because, I mean, you can put him at that 3 technique position. Yes, there are questions about being able to stop the run, but just having that leverage, knowing how to get your hands on guys and being a wrestler and doing little things that he did in the past, you got to look, the better coaches and scouts, they look at little things like that. Micah Parsons played other sports too, where he was physical. So just understanding leverage. I like Osa, but there's more that needs to be done when it comes down to this defensive line, bro. You know what I'm saying? With Mozzie Smith, he didn't show up when this year, but playing that one technique position, that nose tackle position, whatever may have you, sometimes it takes time. And I told people in my previous live streams, when you're picking up a player that's a one technique, sometimes it can take them a couple years. 3 techniques, yes, they rush the passer, they make those splash plays all the time, but let's give it some time when it comes to Mozzie Smith. But everybody else, man, I'm looking in question because I just feel as though with this type of defense and trying to do what Dan Quinn wants out of the defense, and these guys are not stepping up to the plate, man. It was hard to watch, man. And I'm not just pointing at the defensive line. It's the linebackers all the way to the secondary, bro.
Yeah, definitely. Tom, go ahead.
Something that we don't talk about a lot. And honestly, I think it's mostly just because we haven't really come to terms with it, just how much of an impact that Micah has in the pass rush. I'm sitting here with you guys. I mean, I'm sure we all agree he's the best pass rusher in the league. Like, he's the best edge in the league. He draws so many double teams. Like, he gets double teamed. He gets double teamed at a higher rate than any other edge rusher in the league, and it's not even close. And he wins his pass rushes at a higher rate than any other edge rusher in the league. Like, this guy, I mean, he clears Bosa and TJ Watt. Like, I know that we got some Steelers fans in the chat, and like, that's fine. Pay for your time all you want. Micah's that dude. He elevates Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, these other guys. They're getting to go one-on-one all game. I don't think that we should feel married to Dorrance or Dante Fowler, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him back. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think that we're going to do with the pass rushers moving forward?
I like Dante Fowler. I just want to throw that in there for you, Ma. I like Dante Fowler.
Listen, Dante. I like Dante, and he makes some splash plays. He does. but Sam can do it, and Sam, we just got to keep Sam from being boneheaded. Sam is the future. He's the future at that position for me, and I would like to have him there. To continue to keep learning from Tank.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he plateaued though this year. If I'm being honest,
he not on special teams. I mean,
he made a lot of boneheaded. He made a lot of. He did,
but that's a big man. Tom, think about it. That's a big man. That's 6'5", 250, being the first man downfield. That's speed, and you can't coach that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, but I think we were all expecting him to like really make the leap this year, and like he kind of plateaued rather than making the leap, in my opinion. Now, I mean, like I still have a lot of high hopes for him. I mean, he's an athletic freak, like no doubt about it. But like I'm not gonna lie, like I was a little disappointed. I thought that he was really gonna make a jump, and he really didn't.
Did he get the playing time to make the jump? That's my question. Like, did he have all of the opportunities? I don't know that he did, and I'm not gonna say that he did. But you know what? I gotta do this. This is the reason why us as Cowboy fans are getting mad, because we're gonna continue on the defense. But this is the reason why us as Cowboy fans get upset, man. I mean, literally, because you hear this
message are you going to leave for Cowboys Nation as you prepare for the 2023 season? And that's for each one of you.
Let's get ready for Vegas.
Facts. Man, I'm gonna see y'all in Vegas, man. If y'all roulette put on Black 11, I'm pretty sure it's gonna hit because we attacking everything, man. And y'all gonna see the #1 defense in the freaking NFL. I'm gonna put it like that. So.
I don't think nothing else need to be said.
Well, like they said, the Super Bowl. I want to thank you guys for coming.
Hey, look, that was killing me. Hey, bro, I was over here in cringe mode, bro. I'm like, man, because like, look, listen, man, like when I got so much respect for guys like Micah Parsons and what he can be able to do on this team, but you know, when you're focused in and you're locked in, you were about to be on Undisputed at one point before you got the beefing with Skip Bayless. And then you do a podcast. So a lot of these guys, when you see guys like J-Ron Curse, I mean, these guys are on Twitter, they're on X, they're talking to all these other talking heads, the 3 and 4 letter networks, they're caught into that stuff like that. When I hear these type of messages like that, you want to buy in, but when you see the results of it, you like, did these guys really get this message? You know what I'm saying? So that right there was kind of throwing me off, man. You know what I mean? But much love to them, you know what I mean? Because I know Trayvon Diggs, shout out to him, being from the DMV and stuff like that. Hopefully, he's having a speedy recovery. But definitely a lot of work to do over there on that side of town, bro. Especially with those leaders on that team, those 3.
And Tom, talk to me about how you feel about Micah. And you know, we've talked about this earlier. You know, Micah talks a lot, man. He talks a lot. So how'd you feel? And then listening to Micah right there, knowing. To me, the only one who backed it up, who talked the talk and walked the walk, is number 90. Tank Lawrence talked the talk and he walked the walk. And he could say whatever he want to say. But talk to me about this Micah stuff, Tom.
Yeah, so I don't really think that and you and I talked about this like back in like the spring, right? Or I guess around the time that like this, I know this wasn't in the spring, you know, that particular clip, but like he was talking all the way back in the spring too. And I kind of said it at that point in time, like, I'm not crazy about it, but like at the same time, I don't really have a problem with any individual thing that he said. It just brings unwanted distractions. And it's like, if I knew that he didn't care about what anybody else thought about it, it's like he says these things, and then, you know, they quote unquote don't back it up, you know, and then, you know, you see these clips get played all, you know, over and over again, and, you know, Twitter blows up and Micah's this and Micah's that, and Micah didn't back it up. If none of that bothered him, then I would say talk your talk. Like whatever, like so long as you say what you say, and then whatever happens on the football field and whatever it is, the response that you get in the national media or on Twitter, social media, like whatever it is, like so long as you're able to handle that and not be distracted by that, then talk your talk. But he doesn't seem to be able to do that. And so for me, that's the reason why I'm like, look, if you can't handle the blowback that you get, then stop talking. You know, because it's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna say things, people are gonna get upset. It's gonna be, it's gonna be all over ESPN. And like, if you can't handle that, and that's something that you're getting frustrated, and going at fans and going at Skip Bayless on Twitter and stuff like that, like, that's just, those are the natural consequences of talking. So like, if you can't deal with that, then talk less. Like, that's all. Like, I don't have a problem with it so long as he can handle the blowback, but he doesn't really seem to be able to. So I think if I was him, I would say less.
Kenzie Bands, I got to go ahead and jump on this. Yeah, we're reading the comments, man.
Yeah, real quick, man. Like, this not my live, bro. It's not my live, bro. So you already know how that go.
Yeah, and I'm a reader, man. I'm a reader. We're just getting into the dichotomy of it all, but I got you. Kenzie Bands says, I feel like everyone keeps saying Dak didn't give up 48 points, which is true, but we need a quarterback to go out there and score when everyone is not doing good. Dak is a system quarterback. Cam Newton was right. Listen, we're going to get to that. We were just over here on the defensive side because we're moving systematically. So, JC, he's flowing with us. We all flowing. But I promise you, we are not going to leave this live without talking about Dakota Rain Prescott. I got you. Don't worry about it.
That's how I feel too. Yeah, I can't control everything, bro.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, when you're thinking about Micah Parsons, right? Like, shout out to Jazz. We had such a good time when we went to Dallas and when we played against the Philadelphia Eagles. We ended up winning that game. It was such a beautiful time. But when you think about the stadium, when you think about the practice facility, you just see so much glitz and glamour when it comes down to the Dallas Cowboys. And it makes me question, like, how much are they buying into the culture? How much are they buying into the system? That's why me and you were speaking on that culture, because the thing is, Jimmy Johnson and the rest of those guys in the 90s, they knew the culture. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes me question it. It was such a good time that I had in Dallas. I just wanted to throw that in there. But with guys like Micah Parsons, man, just locking in, because I mean, being utilized, just let me know what y'all think. I know you guys say something real quick, Ma, but let me know what you think, how you would want him to be utilized though, going forward.
Yeah. And that's a big thing. That's a big part of this pie is how Dan Quinn makes listen, Cowboy Nation, we cannot, I repeat, cannot go into next year with those two in place and no changes have been made. Listen, I don't think Dan he can be the overall defense coordinator, but I mean, if you look at my guy from Houston, if you look at what he's doing with lesser players, you know what I'm saying? This is why we're saying that the older coaching has to go, because they're not understanding the younger game, right? It's a young man's game at this point. And Dan, what you did used to work, but it's not working. J-Ron Kurtz, we've already said, needs to go. My opinion, Jordan Lewis needs to go. Jordan Lewis is a hit or miss kind of guy, man. He'll make a play, but then he'll give up 7. And originally, that was Deron Bland's position. So Deron was supposed to play there. Stephon was supposed to be on the other side, and Diggs was going to be on the other side. Well, Diggs got hurt. Yeah, so we had to improvise on the play. But, I'm just going to tell you, we've got linebackers. Let's stop. This will be our last stop on the defense. Because I know both of you have strong opinions on the long linebacker. Last stop on the defense. We're going to get to our comments in the chat, and then we're going to flip to the offensive side of the ball. Linebacking crew. We were hurt by not having LVE in.
Hey, ain't that something though? Think about it though, because a lot of people butchered LVE. Yeah. So I throw that in there because they was butchering.
The truth. It's the truth. But we lost LVE. What's number 50's name? Tom. I always forget his name. They played at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State linebacker.
You talking about Harper? You talking about
Devin Harper. We let Devin Harper go. Overshown gets hurt. So now we're down to only one real true linebacker. Right? Mm-hmm. And then they trick.
It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy when you say it out loud, right? One real linebacker.
One real one. And then they trick us and go get Rashaan Evans, which they never used. What's the purpose, Dan? What are you doing? Tom, Give me. Well, first of all, JC, talk to me about linebackers, man.
See,
Talk to me about linebackers.
See, the thing is, man, when you think about guys like Marquise Bell, I like Marquise Bell as a player. He came from a small school. We all know that. And shout out to Will McClay. Me and you have talked about Will McClay. A lot of respect to him. But my thing is, when you're converting a safety and you're bringing him down to a linebacker position, when you're playing against those better offensive lines, if they can get to the second level, you're going to fall into a lot of trouble. But not only Marquise Bell, you think about guys like Damone Clark, got a lot of respect for him. He wore number 18 at LSU. If you're a scout and you see players and you see a player that's wearing that number 18 and whatever number is at a school that means a lot to him, he was one of those guys that was a leader on and off the field. He had a spinal fusion surgery and he still played last year. But when you're playing and having boneheaded type of plays consistently, then it's not a bad thing, Tom, to be just a backup in the NFL. That's okay. We need stout guys at that linebacker position. Damone Clark, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of love for the guy for being hurt and playing on this type of team and really going out there and getting some burn on the field. But at the same time, when you're completely getting removed off the screen and literally washed out of plays and having Aaron Jones just walk towards the touchdown, bro, it's concerning. It's concerning big time. And at this point, bro, nobody is safe. I don't care because we want to get to where we want to go, guys.
Yeah, so we have a linebacker room. Robert Wilson said we don't have a linebacker room. That's hilarious. I love that because we don't. But the linebackers that we do have, they have to be kept 100% clean to be effective in the run game. They have to be kept 100% clean. And like, as much as I know that this fan base loves Hank, and like, I love Hankins, like I do, like, he's not this like elite nose tackle that we sometimes like prop him up to be. No, like he's solid. Like I want to bring him back. Like I do. Like I think that's a position that we need to try and improve. But like what did he make, like $1.5 million or something like that this season? Like he's providing value like at that price. But at the same time, like Osa, Hank, Mozzie, like they're not keeping the linebackers clean. And we got 210 pound, 220 pound, Marquise Bell back there.
Well, he said, Robert Wilson said Brown is out here. Bell is out here playing strong side linebacker, weighing 214.
Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Shout out to Captain Rob, too, because, that's my partner on my show. Yeah, that's.
Give him a horn. Give him a horn.
I know, right? What's good, dog? What's good, my man? What's good? That's my dog right there. Shout out to Mike Autry. Shout out to Regina. Everybody on my side, man. Much love to y'all.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, y'all. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, you got 214 pound Marquise Bell running around back there, like who's excellent in coverage. Obviously, he's a safety, right? Like he's a natural safety. You put him at the linebacker spot, like he's going to be great in coverage. And honestly, if you tell me, hey, you can either have a linebacker, and we're probably going to disagree on this because every time I say this, everyone comes at me. If you said you can have a linebacker that's great against the pass and bad against the run, or a linebacker that's great against the run and bad against the pass, I'm probably taking the linebacker that's good against the pass, like in a passing league. But it's just when you have a linebacker like that, when you have a Damone Clark, when you got a Marquise Bell, like you got to keep them clean. And like, we're not able to do that. Like we need more size. We need more physicality, but I don't think that the Rashaan Evans types, like, I don't think that they're the answer. Like they have to be able to give you something in pass defense. Like they got to be able to give you something there. And that's why Rashaan Evans, last year at Atlanta, what do you have, like 130, 140 tackles or something like that? Like he had a good year. Like
both of them had 100 tackles, bro. Damone Clark and Marquise Bell. Don't get me wrong. Like the last two linebackers that had 100 tackles were Jalen Smith and I think it was LVE together when they were paired. So they put in work, but it's just I get what you're saying, bro. It's the important times of the game. What are you doing at that linebacker position, man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's just like a lot of times you see. So it's like you will see us, like opposing quarterback is getting 8 to 10 yards per attempt, and we're holding the running back to like 4 yards a carry, and everything you see all over social media is we can't stop the run. And I'm like, well, they're getting 6 yards. Like it seems like it's more of a defending the pass issue. I get that. I get you want to, in a big game, you don't want them averaging 4+ yards a carry. Like, I understand that, but like, I'll live with that. I'll live with it if you can defend the pass, because that's way more important. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to move the ball between the 20s if you are relying exclusively on the running game. So, and like I was saying, like, I don't think the Rashaan Evans types, I don't think that those types of guys are the answer. I mean, that's the reason Rashaan Evans was sitting on the couch, even after having 150 tackles or whatever it was. And he was on the couch. And the reason was because he can't defend the pass.
The thing that's so crazy, though, is, Tom, like, the thing is, I do like my linebackers that can be able to stop the pass, but you got to get those guys that can be able to stop the run. You want to know why? Because it looked good in the regular season, the guys that can be able to stop the pass. But when you're going to need those linebackers to be able to stop the run when you're playing against teams that run the ball, and they will continue to run the ball until you stop it. And if you don't stop it, their whole playbook opens. That's why it's important. It is imperative, guys, to be able to just keep it wide open. When we get to this draft coverage, I know me and Ahmad going to be doing a lot of shows this year, a lot of college all-22s. We're going to break this stuff down because stopping the run is very important, as well as being able to stop the pass. Because it's
Tom's point, he started this out by saying, if we're going to run that, you got to keep those linebackers clean. So if you're going to have a hybrid linebacker in the game, somebody who can defend the pass and sort of stop the run, you need to focus in and hone in on the defensive tackles, because that's how you keep linebackers clean. Because the D tackle will create a pile, keep the lineman, the opposing offensive lineman, from getting to your linebacker. And when you do that, your linebacker can scrape to the play, make the play in the hole, and we can swarm tackle. That's great. That's good. And I'm gonna tell you, JC, you mentioning what you just mentioned, LVE and the other linebacker, Jay. We got off of him quick because, again, you can't be on skates when it comes to the running game, right? So now let's turn because we'll be
real quick though, because it's like this defense, bro. We got a lot on our chest right now. It's a lot right now, bro. Like, it's just crazy because when you start talking about those linebackers and you think about Anthony Hitchens, you think about Sean Lee, you think about the guys that we had years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. What happened to that energy? What happened to that energy?
I wish we could clone 3 Sean Lees. I mean, oh my God, Sean Lee was probably one of the greatest Cowboy linebackers we've ever had. Really, man. For real. But like I said, we could stay here all day, but we're gonna switch. We got some comments and people in the chat that's ready to talk about this. And I gotta put this out here, man. This is what my man said out his own mouth.
Team goal is to win a Super Bowl or not, and it's truly a bust if we don't. And not that that's okay, but that's what our standards have to be for us to be able to thrive and to get better in this atmosphere and in this world. And being under the Dallas Cowboys umbrella, I guess you could say, is that you have to accept that. You have to accept those challenges. I've always said with great expectations come greater results. So bring them on, and we're going to try to answer that.
Before I start, do you guys got something? Because I'm finna go.
Go.
All right. Go.
Dakota had an all-pro season. I said he would. Dakota did a lot of great things. He didn't throw 10 interceptions. Awesome. Awesome, man. I mean, I'm proud of that. But when it matters, Dak did not. And I saw a comment saying Dak didn't give up 48 points. He gave up 14. You can't argue that. He stared down CeeDee Lamb. He threw it right to a person he did not see. Right? He was forcing in the beginning of the game. Mike even said, hey, it took me a while for me to find continuity with him, for me to get him comfortable. Dak, it's your 9th year, buddy. You have to in turn play championship football, and you can't keep taking it. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't play championship football. No, sir. Another year went by of you not playing championship football when it mattered. During the season, it matters. Okay, 12-5 is nothing. Listen, Cowboy fans, 12-5 is nothing to be sad about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? anybody who has a 12-5 season is doing pretty good for themselves, right?
Big time.
But bro, in the playoffs, you can't stink it up, man. You cannot stink it up. And we bail you out a lot of times because we say, oh, you didn't have the receivers. You had the Noah Browns. You had the Dalton Schultz. But look, they're still in the playoffs. Noah and Dalton are still in the playoffs.
Hey, and that makes me cringe, bro.
But here's the thing, and I'm gonna shut up, and I'm gonna toss it up to you and Tom Tom. I demand more out of you, Dakota. And I understand that it's unfair, but you wear the star on your hat. You wear the star on your helmet. And if you were in Jacksonville, you wouldn't get this much scrutiny. But you're in Dallas, bro. And you got to show up because you got the Troy Aikmans and the Roger Staubachs that you got to live up to. Those ghosts are in that hall, and it is what it is. I'm done. I'll keep going all day. JC, man, it's on you, bro.
See, with me, when you think about Dak Prescott and all he has done for this organization, when he first started his career, and you taking guys like Tony Romo's position, just like you said, bro, like the Dallas Cowboys, everybody is watching you. Everybody's watching. The lights are the brightest when it comes down to the Dallas Cowboys, and this guy didn't fold. This is why we have liked this guy. This is why we have rooted for this guy. This is why we have believed in this guy all of these years. And you said 9 years, 9 years. Shout out to Dwayne. What's good, Dwayne? What's up, Patrice? What's going on? Shout out to y'all. But when you're talking about 8 and 9 years, you will think that this guy can be able to get it going. Now, when I think about the quarterback position, you don't have to be the most athletic person. You don't. If you can be able to run that juggernaut, if the system, that's why we go back to culture, understanding the offense, understanding what Mike McCarthy wants, being on the same page, not playing hero ball, going out there and allowing your players to make plays, running the ball efficiently. When you do things like that, Dak Prescott moving around out the pocket, extending plays, gaining that chemistry with CeeDee Lamb, this is the stuff that we want to see. But when you get to these big games, this is when it gets tough, man. It gets tough. And seeing it at this point now, I know what Dak Prescott can be throughout the season. They can get 12-5, 13-3, whatever they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But when the lights get bright, what are you going to do, Dak Prescott? At this point right now, I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I just want to be straightforward, straight up. You got to prove it when it matters most. That's the thing. That's where I'm at with Dak Prescott, and that's just what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to kind of, cake things up when it comes down to Dak Prescott.
I'm with you on that. Tom.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. When the lights are the brightest, something I really don't want to put this out there, but it's true. When the lights are the brightest, something happens with him. And I don't think like what we saw on Sunday and what you've seen in big games in the past, I don't put it all on him. I probably don't even put most of it on him, to be completely honest. But there is something to the accusations that the lights get a little too bright for him sometimes. Now, I think once he gets settled in, then most of the time he goes right back to being, normal Dak. Maybe I even think sometimes he rises to the occasion, but it takes him too long to get there. You got to come out of the gate hitting, right? You can't take a quarter to get going. You can't take a half to get going. Like that can't happen. But I do think that some of his poor performances, I do think a lot of it does have to do with the game plan. And I know a lot of people are going to say, y'all just keep on giving Dak the excuses. He doesn't have receivers. He doesn't have good coaching, like whatever, he doesn't have a good offensive line. Y'all want to, you Dak apologists, y'all want to put the blame on everybody else and you don't want to give him any blame. Well, look, I just gave him some blame. Right. And that's his biggest, like, that's the accusation that you hear is that he's a choke artist. Right. And like, I'm not saying he's a choke artist, but like, I'm putting a little gas on that fire a little bit. Like I'm admitting that. But at the same time, like, I just think that the game plans just like typically suck, like in these big games, like they're terrible. I mean, it's like, look, first five games of this season, what were we doing? We were running the ball more on first and second down than basically any other team in the league. That's what
Talk about it. Talk about it.
And then what happened from week 6 on, with a couple of exceptions, there were a couple of exceptions in there. We started throwing the ball on early downs more than any other team in the league. Yep. And that's when Dak got hot. Like we keep wanting to run.
Yeah. Stop right there. In the playoff game, what did we do?
Ran the ball too much on early downs. How many times?
Push it up.
I think I think they threw the ball on second down like one time in the first half. There's some crazy stat that I saw like going around. Like they just kept on running it. It's too predictable.
And Green Bay, if you notice that, JC, Green Bay is the worst on first and second down when you're throwing the ball. They were the worst in the league.
And then let's add this too. Worst against tight ends too. They were like 25th or ranked like 26th against tight ends. Just let's throw that in there.
Game planning was the problem.
Yeah.
So to me, there's this thing that happens, and it's basically like you get good Dak when you put the ball in his hands and say, "Go win us the game." Like we're gonna ride you. Like we're gonna be Dak heavy. Like we're not gonna establish the run to set up the pass. Like we're gonna throw the ball and let that set up the run. Like this is 2023, not 1993 anymore. Throw the ball, and when we do that, Dak typically cooks. But then we get in these big games, and I don't know what happens. Like I don't know if Jerry's like, "Hey, I want to win it," like back in the glory days. We're going to be one. I don't know what happens because they just immediately go back to running the ball on first and second down, every first and second down, and then saying, "All right, Dak, bail us out on third down." And he's elite on third down, but it's just you're shouldering him with too much. You're asking him to play hero ball.
Yeah, you can't give. Yeah, that's it. He can't keep giving him a cape and saying, "Bail us out." It's not going to happen.
And that's when you start doing that, guys. That's when you fall into mistakes. You know what I'm saying? When you start playing that hero ball, you don't want that to happen with Dak Prescott. Hey, shout out to Matt Batten though. He said 12-5 is good, but Dak be judged by his playoff record. He sinks in the playoffs. That's the thing, man. You can get to 12-5 all you want, but it's very important once you get to this postseason when you got 2 home games. That's why we're here ranting right now, because we ain't been live, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to be able to get on that right now. It's a good show. I can already tell by the energy. With Dak Prescott, man, I believe in this guy. I know that this guy can be able to do it, but he just got to believe in himself. When I look and see stuff on the screen where you see guys, him and CeeDee Lamb, they're going back and forth, that's when I knew right there something about to end up crazy happening. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the kind of TO type of stuff where he was going through with Romo. You don't want things like that to happen. They're already having 2 safeties over the top right now. They're scared of CeeDee Lamb. So when you're throwing quick plays like that, this is when these guys jump on the ball.
And JC,
like they got a leg up as far as coaching.
I'm glad you mentioned that, JC, because that's my next point, right? To beat us, every team the teams that beat us put out resumes and recipes. 2 high safeties. Why? Because there was a lack of a running game in Dallas, Texas this year, right? And if you put up 2 high safeties, a man over the top of CeeDee Lamb, and then you come down against Brandon Cooks or against Fergie, right? And then now you leave the other side open, which was covered by Michael Gallup, who can't get separation on anybody at this point. So this is why, to me, Michael Gallup got to go. You know what I'm saying?
That hurts me, Mont.
I know it does because you like Gallup. But to me, Jalen Tolbert earned those minutes. He earned those minutes in preseason. He earned those minutes in camp. He earned them. Give them to him. I don't care. It's your fault, Jerry. Jerry, you have a history of overpaying dudes that shit. Miles Austin, Sam Hurd. You know what I'm saying? I can keep going. I'm a Cowboy fan through and through, and I can tell you, this is your history. You got to let them go, man. And you said it. They put the recipe out. This is how you beat Dallas. You 2 high safety them boys and make Dak fit everything in the tight windows. He's going to make a mistake, and he always does. You know what I'm saying? That's why he has to get better. But the other part about this is, and let's explore it, our offensive line is getting old. And you bring in people like Chuma Edoga, who it was out there twiddling his thumbs and doing finger painting on his helmet. instead of getting to the man he needs to get to and giving up sacks, bro. Again, Tom, I'm gonna throw it to you and then throw it to JC. Tom, how you feel about this line and where we're headed with the line, real quick?
Yeah, it's like they're kind of in this weird like no man's land, right? Because we know we're going to draft an offensive lineman day 1 or day 2. Like we're pretty confident that that's going to happen. And I mean, they might draft 2, right? And the way that the Cowboys, the way that McClay and that front office hits on offensive linemen, I mean, you could, if Tyron comes back and is relatively healthy, and I'm talking about like, 10, 12 games, like, where he's healthy and playing, like you pretty well know you're going to get all pro or near all pro, like quality play at the left tackle spot. Zach Martin, I'm assuming he's coming back because of the way that he restructured that deal before this season. That kind of told me that he's going to play for 2 more years. So he's got another year. And like, while I'm not sure that he's actually, I know it was an all pro, like I'm not sure he's actually playing at an all pro level at this point. He's still an elite right guard. Terrence Steele, like for better or worse, they're paying that dude a lot of money. So they're not gonna bail on him. Tyler Biotish is gone. Tyler Smith's going to be the best left guard in the league probably for the next 10 years. So it's like, aside from Tyler Biotish, and like I get it, Terrence Steele coming off of the injury, like not such a great year. Like they have 3 elite like guys like on the offensive line, and so it's like we're going to draft a couple guys. TJ Bass looks like he's going to be a good one. Brock Hoffman, there might be something there too. So it's like if you have a couple guys retire, maybe a guy gets injured, this could be a terrible offensive line. But if all those guys kind of maintain those vets, those old guys kind of maintain that level of play and stay healthy, and TJ Bass is who we think he might be, and Brock Hoffman is solid, and we go and draft another offensive lineman or 2, we might have, 8 or 9 like NFL quality like offensive linemen in that room. So it's like we're kind of in this weird spot where you could see the line being like elite next year, and you could also see, things going south real quick. So it's kind of, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with that group, to be honest. I do know that we need to get one on day 1 or 2, somebody that can, play tackle and guard. Like I want somebody with some versatility because it's just there's a lot of things that are up in the air with the line.
JC.
All right, let me. You said address match. Which one? This one right here. We make losses too personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. It's so crazy, right? Because with this team, right? We get so caught in, and a lot of Cowboys fans, they're fickle. Next 1 minute they're on, next minute they're off. My thing is, when it comes down to this Cowboys team, we know that there's a lot of things that we got to clean up. As far as the offense, defense, and special teams, this is not a perfect team right here. Okay, at least we all know that. At least we're all on the same page when it comes down to that. But we have to clean things up. If it's the draft, free agency, we know that if we were to, let's say, bro, if we were to win this game against the Green Bay Packers and we play against the San Francisco 49ers, we're not a better team than 49ers, y'all. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We got to keep it real with ourselves right now. When you're thinking about the trenches, when you're thinking about all the stuff that we got to build, if this team could be able to play on the same page, it's huge, bro. It's huge. That's why I say with me, I keep an open mind when it comes down to the Cowboys. The offensive line, bro, I feel good about guys like Brock Hoffman. I did run an all-22 on him. TJ Bass as well. You know what I'm saying? Them guys, I'm a little ripped right now too. I'm feeling good, man. I don't know if y'all drinking or not, but y'all need to get a drink because hey, listen, man. This one we're going to JC Lounge, man. Y'all already know. I'm not in JC Lounge, but it's okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning up, man. But yeah, man, it's you see the talent that Will McClay is bringing in. Guys like Brock Hoffman.
Hey, and get this. I told you backstage. Will McClay is the reason why I'm still a Cowboy fan. Period, point blank.
Yeah.
Period, point blank.
You'd be a Cowboy fan no matter what. They'll go 0-17 every single year. Like
I would be a closet Cowboy. I would be
you'd be closeted. Yeah, for sure.
And I guarantee you I wouldn't be doing content. I guarantee we go 0-17. I'm not doing content about that. My time is valuable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Amp though. I see my guy Amp. That's one of the content creating brothers right there. He said we got to start building this team to not just run the East. Hey, listen, no bull, bro. No bull.
Yeah.
These guys can run numbers when it comes down to the East. You can beat the Commanders, all the rest of those guys. But when you're playing against these top-tier teams like the 49ers, the Green Bay Packers, or Green Bay Packers, they're a really, really young team, but they're very, very well coached. But everybody in the NFC, bro, it is critical, bro. So I'm definitely on you with you on that one.
He said, Mark said, have Will McClay draft the coaches. Look,
I mean, somebody else needs to be making those decisions, in my opinion. I mean, Will McClay can't do worse. He can't do any worse.
I mean, unbelievable. So, you know,
you probably got to extend this time too, dog, because this is getting a little spicy right now, dog. This live stream getting a little spicy. We got some things to talk about on this offense for real, bro.
Yeah, we do. And Am said we got to start, and I agree with you. We got to build for more than just the East. We really have to build for the NFL. And you're right, JC, when you said, man, you know, pick this roster. But it's not just the roster of San Francisco. It's Shanahan. You gotta understand the coaches that came out of his tree are all doing well offensively.
Yeah, what do you think Dak could be doing in that offense right now?
Oh my gosh,
he'd be the runaway MVP if he was playing.
Runaway wouldn't even be close.
But Dak was putting up numbers for the Dallas Cowboys. But you know, we all know that defense wins championships. There has to be a collective unit to be able to win playoff games. Dak Prescott's been doing work for the Dallas Cowboys this year, guys.
He has, but complimentary football is what you're right. We got to play complimentary football, and defense sucked. You know what I'm saying? Defense sucked. But what I'm saying to you is what I said earlier. It's a difference between scheming to play a defense and scheming wide receivers open. It's a difference. And Shanahan will scheme wide receivers open. We ain't scheming wide receivers open. You're depending on talent. And Michael Gallup is getting no separation. He needs to be schemed open.
That's so crazy, Mod. Like when you think about guys like Michael Gallup, you really don't want to be throwing to guys that can't be able to create separation. You know what I'm saying? Because those 50-50 balls, when you get to the playoffs, Tom, what's your thoughts on that? Throwing 50-50 balls to a guy that can't be able to gain separation in the playoffs. I mean, like, that matters.
Yeah, you don't want to have to rely on it, but it seems like every year we have to, you know, because we don't have guys running open. I mean, last year we were bottom in the league in receiver separation, right? And I think this year was better. This year was better. It was better. McCarthy's scheme is definitely better than Kellen's. Like, you know, we're talking about, you know, we don't have a Shanahan, you know, we need to get a guy like that. We need to get a Slovic, you know, or we need to get a Ben Johnson or somebody like that up in here. Somebody with new ideas, somebody who can get receivers open. Like, but McCarthy, it was better than what we saw last season with Kellen. But it's just not good enough. And when you play, it's like, so we got guys running open like against Philadelphia. We got guys running open against the Commanders. We got guys running open against the Giants. They were all of those teams I just listed. And somebody left a comment earlier, you know, about we need to build a team that's not just, you know, built to run the East. And I totally agree with that. Especially this year, Philadelphia. What do they have like in terms of like yards, total yards surrendered a game? Philadelphia, Washington, New York, they were all like bottom 5 in the league. Like these are some of the worst defenses in the league, and we play them 6 times. Like we have to be built to stop some of these elite teams, right? And it's just like we run a score up against all these East teams, and then we go and we face a team that's got a good coach. And like our pass defense is great all season long. We got an elite pass defense. And then they just got guys running open the entire time. Jordan Love broke the single game record, playoff game record for QBR. Did you guys see that?
He scorches, bro. It was like
that's game plan. That's not personnel. Like I'm not saying like we need to improve the linebackers. Like we need to get better like with our personnel on that side of the ball. But when you go from elite pass defense to you just got guys running wide slap open the whole game, that's game planning.
Yeah, and it's so funny because a lot of people were talking about Bill Belichick being a coach for the Cowboys and stuff like that. But it's crazy because he runs the defense, right? So he runs the entire defense, and he's a head coach. That means that if you was to bring in a guy like Bill Belichick, he's getting Dan Quinn out of there. He's getting Mike McCarthy out of there. So a lot of people were talking about guys like Bill Belichick. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on, you know, how y'all feel about Mike McCarthy, you know, coming in here for this next year, you know, his final year of his contract. and seeing if this guy can be able to do what he can be able to do to get us to where we want to go. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that we're a far away team, but at the same time, this team got to get better. Going 12-5 these last 3 years, bro, I know that's always good and gravy, but at the same time, you got to be able to shine at the most important time. So I just want to get your you guys' thoughts on Mike McCarthy.
Thank you. That was a great question, JC, man. I appreciate it. We know the day that, we saw the day that he's going to be playing out on an expired. I mean, he's going to be coaching on an expired contract. And I think that that's great motivation. But I really believe that he has to take account and look at himself in the mirror and say, I need help. I need help scheming and game planning. I don't need an advisory or an advisor. I need someone who's going to come in here and call the plays for me, and I oversee. You know what I'm saying? That's what I need. And he's going to have to, in order to enjoy any type of success this year, he's going to have to surrender the play calling to somebody. Because here's the thing that we're not talking about. Mike McCarthy's teams these last 2 years are some of the most penalized teams out there. And as a head coach, that can't be.
Yeah.
So I need to get off the offense and stop putting this in front of my face, calling plays. I need to let somebody else do that. And I need to be down somebody's throat if they're making these penalized. Because we weren't the most penalized team, but we had the most penalty yards this year. So that's something that the head coach needs to do. That's my take and 2 cents on Mike McCarthy. Go ahead, Tom. Before we go ahead. We got a couple.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. Yeah, so I was just gonna say, the only thing that's giving me hope right now is like, and you were, I don't know if you said this explicitly or you were just kind of hinting at it. They need to get McCarthy some help. Like there are. What?
Hey, go back to that comment real quick, yo, with Virginia.
Yeah, they would have never survived in the same place together. Yeah, they wouldn't have survived. Go ahead, Tom.
There would have had to have been some kind of understanding. You got like, just because we can't go and get a head coach, just because we can't go get one of these, Shanahan tree, OCs or passing game coordinators, and give them a head coaching job. These guys are littered across the league. Littered, that's not a good word. These guys are spread across the league. You got guys in this Shanahan tree that have all of these new ideas, and like you got them in passing game coordinator, positions. You got them in assistant quarterback coach, positions and all kinds of things like that. Go and hire 5 of them. You know what I mean? Go throw a bunch of money at 5 of them and bring them in as assistant coaches. Somebody that's in that room. Somebody that's in that room with McCarthy and Schottenheimer. I don't know if they're bringing Schottenheimer back, like I assume that they are. Somebody that's in that room and is, has a say in what the game plan is week to week, because that's where we need, it's not so much the scheme. It's the game planning, like week to week. It's deciding what are we running? When are we running it? Like, and just the little, the tweaks that you make week to week to the playbook. Like and we need guys, we need more brains in that room.
Right, but we need in-game adjustments. Yeah. Amp Sports, yeah. I love you, man. I appreciate it. I love it.
Shout out to Amp, man.
Yeah, give him the horn. Give him the horn. Give him the horn.
Amp, man. You already know, man.
Yeah, man. I about Brian, and you saying who is he? My question is, where do we feel his impact at? Where do we feel his? I don't. So is Schottenheimer the guy? Well, I don't know if we even felt his impact at all. Like, so I need a younger mind in that room, like Tom said. I need a younger mind, somebody who grew up playing Madden and is just sitting here.
But when it comes down to it, though, Ahmad, like a lot of these guys, I mean, it's a lot of egos when it comes down to running offenses. Do y'all remember when Mike McCarthy came in here? Yeah, he gave Kellen Moore the reins. I mean, yeah, he did his thing. He still had him on the side, but he probably was thinking in the back of his mind, like, "Hey, bro, I'm taking this spot." You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of ego when it comes down to running the offense. But I think that whenever you can be like an offensive coordinator. So when you think about guys like Dan Quinn, right? You know what I'm saying? When you're running when you're a head coach, because it's so funny when he's interviewing for all these head coaches positions. But I think that he's a better defensive coordinator because he doesn't have to worry about so much. You don't have to worry about the whole team. You can just worry about your unit on defense. I think that he's a better defensive coordinator than what he is a head coach. I don't think he's going to be successful being a head coach because there's so much other things you got to worry about. Now, when you think about guys like Mike McCarthy, just his skill set running the offense, that's going to take a lot out of him to say, hey, I don't want to do this no more, or have other people say in it, as far as the offense, because it's so much ego when it comes down to these offenses. But I mean, it's in bringing in so many guys from the Dallas Cowboys, so much talent that we got over here, that would boost the ego with it as well, though, bro. So
Frederick Johnson said you have to be able to counterpunch with the play calling. I absolutely love that. Regina said the analyst of zone versus man apparently was not even addressed. Not at all.
Yeah.
And Matt said, I'm done with Tony Pollard. I like Rico Dowdell more. I do too. And we have a Derrick Henry, a conversation we need to have here in just a second. Ultra Cowboy, what's popping, man?
Hey, shout out to Ultra Cowboy, because he did say something. He said, I love that the family members of star players are finally bashing Dak. Look, man, I'm with you on that, man. Like, nobody is safe when it comes down to our Dallas Cowboys. I remember my guy Amp, he did make a post. He was saying something like, man, listen, man, I'm not going to be drinking the Kool-Aid. I ain't going to be caught up into what's going on with these Dallas Cowboys. They got to go out there and prove it. At this point now, because this is why they, you hear about the 3 and 4 letter networks. They talk about that we're delusional and all this other stuff. A lot of us, there are no delusional fans on my side of town when it comes down to the Cowboys, bro. It's so funny, right? When you think about Stephen A., all the stuff that he talks about and say that there's delusional fans that are going to the Super Bowl, I don't hear nobody talk about that on my side of town as far as my network. We know what we got to do to be able to do it. We just got to go out there and prove it. So I think that with Hit Energy and all those 3 and 4 letter networks, bro, is just so much clickbait. We just got to lock in what we can and do what we can control and go out there and just get it done, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, man. No excuses.
Agreed. So what do you think about Derrick Henry and his comments when he got to the podium? Was like, man, I'm going to take a couple weeks off, then I'm going to go out to Dallas. What do you think about those comments? I'll start with you, JC, and then we'll go to Tom Tom.
I mean, the thing is, man, like when you're thinking about a guy like Derrick Henry and his type of skill set, what he can be able to bring with this type of team, I know that he's an older player, but the thing is, with his physicality, if he was to ever come to this team, I don't know what to take out of what he said, but at the same time, if we do pick him up, I don't want to get caught into the offseason hype. If this guy, jumps onto our team, bro, at this point now, if he can get there, man, I think that we'll be better at that running back position. I mean, we'll be physical. I know that dang on sure. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't want to, get too hyped and caught up into what's going on, with these free agents coming in, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tom, what would you think about acquiring?
It's kind of scary to me, to be honest. It just feels real risky. Like, and I mean, he's had a season like sprinkled in here and there where you think, all right, he's getting ready to fall off the cliff. And then he comes back and averages 5 yards a carry. So like, I'm not putting anything past this guy. Did he have a great season? No, he didn't have a great season. Does it look like it might be the beginning of the end? To me, it does. Like, given his age, and you look at the yards per carry and how it's kind of starting to fall off a cliff a bit. I think he averaged around somewhere between 4 or 4.2 yards a carry. Like, he was pretty middle of the road. That's one guy I would never count out, but you're not going to be able to bring him in like on a veteran minimum or anything like that. Like, he's not going to ask for $10 million a year, but it's not going to be, $2 million either. You're probably going to have to pay him
though, Tom, because he's older now.
He is. And you know what? He might, like, he wants to get a ring. Obviously they all do. He's gotten paid, obviously. I mean, he's not gotten paid like a quarterback or anything like that, but he probably wants a ring, and he might think that this is a good place, good a place as any to try and do it. I would take a long look at it. Like, I'm not immediately dismissive of that idea, but it just scares me. These old running backs, like they just fall off a cliff. Like, they go from, it's like Dalvin Cook, you know what I mean? And like, they sort of like ride that reputation for like at least another year, maybe 2 years. It's like everybody this year's talking about, oh, we got to go get Dalvin Cook. We got to go get Dalvin Cook. Oh, the Jets got Dalvin Cook. And it's like, he wasn't it wasn't really that great last year, guys. And then he did nothing this year. It's like they go from all pro to out of the league in a year or two.
And
it happens fast.
It's so funny, real quick, Tom. It's wild because you can find so much talent all throughout the draft, brother. It's a lot of prospects that don't get drafted. When you think about guys like Austin Eckler, guys like Derrick Henry, he was a second-round pick. There are so many running backs that you can find. Look at the guy from the Rams named Kyron Williams. Yeah. That guy was balling. You can find, and I will be breaking down so much. I'm going to be doing so much film as far as the running back position because I know I'm so glad that you brought this up because the thing is, man, when you're looking at college, I see a lot of talent that's out there and you don't have to get those guys in the first round and all the hype in the second round. You can find those guys in the mid rounds and guys that can make a difference. Look at guys like Tony Pollard, guys. He was a 4th round pick.
Yeah. Was it Achane? Did he go in the 3rd round last year?
Yeah, real quick. What's his name? DeMarco Murray, 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
Marion Barber, rest in peace to him. 4th round pick.
Yep.
Remember that, guy.
You're right. Ultra Cowboy said since Mike McCarthy is staying, do the following. Hire Zach Robinson as OC, quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator for the Rams.
It's a good idea.
Hire Johnny Holland, linebackers coach, run game coordinator for the 49ers. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I like it for real. And then Regina Green said addressed.
Shout out to Regina.
She said addressed. Would love to hear Henry and Zeke tear up the defense and then run for Rico. I get it. I like it. Here's my thing real quick. When we're talking about running backs, running backs will be better as the offensive line goes, right? So we have to find some coaching and scheming so that way we can run the ball, right? And you mentioned this. This is where I'm finna pivot. Before I pivot there, I need to say another free agent that I would love for us to throw the bag at is T. Higgins. I know Cincinnati's going to try to franchise tag him, but man, if we can get the opportunity or trade for Mike Evans, whichever, I don't care. We need a third, or we need to allow Jalen Tolbert to cook. But I seen a stat on X on Twitter that blew my mind. In our second round picks, we only hit on those 22% of the time. Our percentage is higher on the 4th round and the 1st round than it is in the second round.
That's crazy.
It is. It's crazy. Schoonamaker to me was a bad pick, and we talked about this.
Hey,
right?
Tom, I need to get your thought when it come down to guys like Schoonmaker because this is our first stream together, man. And this is such a good live stream. I appreciate y'all so much, man, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Schoonmaker, it was a bad pick. I don't. I mean, like that. There's no. I mean, is there anybody saying that was a good pick? Like, I mean,
where's Captain Rob? Where's my guy, Captain Rob?
Hot take. It was a bad pick. I do think he's going to work out. I don't think anybody's going to look back and say, at any point. I don't think 5 years down the road, I don't think anybody's going to come back and say, you know what, that was a good pick. I'm glad that we took him in the second round. But I do think. But I do think that he's going to be a tight end in this league. I really do. Like he's got he's got an elite. Like he looks like his blocking is going to be elite, right? And I like my tight ends to be able to block. To me, Kyle Pitts is not a tight end. To me, Kyle Pitts is a slot receiver. It's like we got these guys spread across the league that line up in line like 5 times a game, and then we call them tight ends. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a tight end to me. And Scooney's got a big catch radius. Like I know he had some drops, but like I think he's got decent hands. I think he's going to be okay. I don't think we're going to say glad we spent the second round pick on him, but I think he's a player. I think he'll be a player.
See, the thing is, man, it's just so much, y'all. Go ahead, Ma. Go ahead, Ma.
Ultra Cowboy said we thought Dalton Schultz was trash for the first.
It's tough, man. The life of a tight end, first 2 years, it's tough, especially when you got a guy. Like Jake Ferguson ahead of you. Like,
that's a good point.
That's a good point. Detroit, what's his name? What's the dude's name?
Laporta.
Oh my god!
But hold on. It's a good point. It's a good point. JC made this before. He don't remember, but I'm gonna say it. Them drafting Schoonmaker in the second round was directly because they didn't believe in Jake Ferguson.
And look, hey, that's why I said, and I was talking about that. Shout out to Captain Rob, though. You know what I'm saying? My partner, because he was really on the Jake Ferguson train. Like, I like Jake Ferguson, but this guy loved Jake Ferguson. And seeing what Jake Ferguson did this year, guys, we got to tap in on that, because when you see Schoonmaker, he didn't really do much this year. And I still think that he can be something, because being able to catch the ball, you can line up in line, in motion, you can be able to block and all that good stuff. That's great and all. But when you see a guy like Jake Ferguson that can be able to do it, and he's proven it on tape, he's being physical with these linebackers. He's going out there. I think literally he had the best game, even though, our game was a little shaky against the Green Bay Packers, but he had the best game.
Yep.
Pound for pound.
Ferguson is him. He's him. I don't just like Jake for his catch range and his catching ability and being able to get up the seam. His attitude, I love it, man. He's got the attitude that you're supposed to have. He's an enforcer. He gets up. He talks cash. I like it. You're 22% in the second round. That means you're missing most of the time. And Will is great, man. He finds stuff in the fourth and fifth round that's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying?
we get unnecessarily greedy a lot of times in the second round too, where we go after these guys that they're first round talents, but they have, some injury history there. It's Jalen Smith, Sean Lee. And I know Sean Lee, he gave us some great years. Great years. But lots of injury problems. And we try and get a little cute in the second round. I feel like we try really hard to get like guys with tons of upside whenever it's just make the right pick. Like, just go get a good player, go get a starter. Like, stop getting greedy, stop trying to get cute, stop trying to outsmart the rest of the league, and just get a good player. And we don't do that enough.
Patrice said Sean Lee would be fantastic. Make him a linebacker coach or something. We have a front office that won't allow real culture. Our coaches need coaching. Our players don't play with their heart. And I'm going to tell you, Jimmy, did y'all see Jimmy give his halftime speech? Oh, yeah. I was ready to jump through a wall for that guy.
Yeah, Strahan was too.
I was ready to jump through a wall.
And did you see what he said during halftime, though, bro, when we was getting beat by the Green Bay Packers?
No, that's what I'm talking about.
That's what he's talking about, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, bro.
He had Strahan get down in his stance. Like, you see that? Like, right after he went on his little rant. Yeah, that was great, man. Like, we need that in the locker room. They should have been live streaming that.
All right, bro, because it just makes me so sad, Cowboys Nation. Like, you get emotional, man, when it come down to this, because, man, I got a lot of love for y'all, man. I really do, man. I'm so happy to be on here with y'all. Shout out to everybody on my side, man. What's up, y'all, man? What's so happy to be here. We work so hard when it comes down to Cowboys Nation. And, when you see these situations right here, when you got the talent to go out there and do it, man, it's just tough to, to see. But, you're playing against these teams in the NFL. It's going to be challenging, going all the way throughout the playoffs, guys. So it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. And after, in what way, when you say looking for value, what way did you mean that in? I think I think she's talking
about like in the second round.
Oh yeah, well,
the second round picks.
Yeah,
you have been good with the second round picks, man, for a long time.
We haven't been, and like I said, we literally have to get to the place where when we're drafting, we have to. I think we do a good job at drafting. I think we're doing a good job at player personnel, but I think, and here's where I think we can kind of get ready to where we start ending this thing.
I got a spicy one for you though, real quick. I got a spicy one. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that in whenever you're ready.
How aggressive should we be in free agency? And this year, I keep seeing it. I keep seeing it all the way across the. Should we be majorly aggressive?
Majorly, extremely aggressive.
Yes.
Go for it. Bring back old Jerry. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. I think it's something Steven did. But if Steven, get rid of Steven if that's the problem. Like, I want old Jerry back. I don't want give up 2 first-round picks for Roy Williams. You know what I mean, Jerry? I don't want that Jerry. But, like, we need to go for it, man. We need to go for it.
Big time. You got to be aggressive. That's just at this point right now, that we're close. We're not far away from getting to where we want to go, guys.
Yep.
That's the thing. But the question I have for you guys, when it comes down to DeMarvion Overshown, he's not the biggest guy, but he will be one of the toughest guys on this defense. I just want to get you guys' thoughts, man, because he's one of the guys that I'm really, really excited about going into this year. But do y'all feel as though that he's the type of player that is an undersized linebacker?
No. After watching him at Texas, I watched him at Texas, and I'm a big Texas fan. Anybody knows me, I have a Texas pod as well. He is a dog, straight up dog. He showed up in every big game. You wasn't just gonna block him and run him off the field. No, he was gonna get to the place and fill his gap integrity. That's DeMarvion Overshown. He is that guy who will lay it on the line for you and his team. And definitely, I'm looking forward to him getting back. I think he is going to help the linebacker room. Absolutely, 110%. Tom, it's on you.
Hey, one quick thing, though, Mod. Shout out to Dwayne. You can go ahead and highlight his comment, bro. He said, JC, do you have co-host? Do you have the co-host channel? So y'all let them know who y'all are, man, so they can come follow y'all.
Yeah, man, definitely. Definitely, you could catch us on the Know-It-Alls. You can catch me on the Know-It-Alls. That is KNOITALLZ, the Know-It-Alls. You'll find that channel on YouTube. You can follow me on @Victorious52 on IG. And also, we are DC4L. That's me and Tom. That is our channel. You can find that on it's the Cowboys Global Cast, top right. You can see that. You can find that on YouTube, and you can find that on where you find all of your podcasts as well, because we're downloadable there. But no, so Tom, give us what you think on DeMarvion Overshown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on him. Yeah, I mean, do I think he's undersized? Like, I feel like that the linebacker position is sort of being redefined, like in real time. In the NFL, it's just like that's kind of, for years you see this like evolution, this offensive evolution where the best teams in the league are, it's like 11 personnel. Like that's just your normal like base, offensive set now, right? It's like offenses they're running 11 personnel like 60, 70, 80% of the time, and that used to be like, whoa, 3 wide receivers on the field. Like that's crazy. And we always knew defenses, there's going to be a counterpunch. There's going to be an adjustment, right? And I think one of those things that you're seeing is that they're relying more on linebackers than ever before to be good in coverage. And as that's happened, as that evolution has happened, linebackers are just kind of starting to get a little smaller, right? Like you don't see a bunch of guys running around, at 250, 255 pounds, right? There's not a lot of guys like built like, like Ray Lewis, and guys like that. There are some guys, you do have some bigger linebackers that are able to cover, but they're rare. And so like, I don't really think Overshown he's a little light. And I mean, he's going to have a lot of the same problems that, the guys that we had playing that position this year had. I don't think he's not, you're going to have to keep him pretty clean, but he's just, the physical traits are there. The instinctiveness. I kind of feel like he's going to sort of be, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I see him as like the Jake Ferguson of the defense. That's kind of what I see. He's that guy who's vocal. He sets the tone physically. Yeah, I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? Like the kind of what I'm getting at in terms of like, he's like your spirit. I see him as being like a spiritual leader, like on the defense, if that makes sense.
I mean, the type of player that he is, he is that spiritual leader. He was a leader over there on the Texas side, bro. Shout out to you too, Mod, because a lot about DeMarvion Overshown, but just being a player that you can be able to, that can blitz, that's tough. And he's one of the guys, though, Mod, that like whenever the offensive linemen are trying to get at him, he's going to thump as well. He's not big, he's not the biggest guy, but at the same time, you can utilize this guy in pass coverage. I did a breakdown because it's so funny because on my main page, I still got that page that video up on my main page. I got a lot of respect for him, and I think that he can really be something for us. And it was very unfortunate to see that this guy got injured, but and that's part of the reason why Marquise Bell was making a lot of noise, because for real, let's keep it honest. That was DeMarvion Overshown's burn.
Yeah.
That was DeMarvion Overshown's burn. So we'll see. Let's just, pump the brakes when it comes down to him. I think that he can be good for us, but just like Patrice said, you don't want to rush this guy from being coming from injury and stuff like that. But I think that, he can be a special piece for us in the defense once we get down to the regular season.
And one thing you should have seen in film, I'm sorry, Tom. One thing you should have seen in film is that's important. Not only does he thump, he knows how to position his body to like get small when they're trying. You know what I'm saying? When he gets small when he needs to get through holes and to maintain gap integrity. That's what's so good about it. And he's fast. So he's fast, he's long, and he knows how to use his body to position himself to blow up plays and make tackles.
Yeah, he's a playmaker.
That's what you want. You want somebody who's going to blow up plays and make tackles. To your point real quick, Tom, and then you have the floor. They said SRT Ken said old Jerry was making senile decisions, firing Jimmy. He said, listen to what you're asking for. And then Ultra Cowboy said, pair Overshown with Patrick Queen.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, well, I'm gonna get to that. What I was gonna say is I've heard some whispers about them moving to a 3-4. I don't actually think that that's gonna happen. But like if they did, Overshown, he can play multiple. He can play multiple positions. You can see him at inside linebacker, outside linebacker. You see him that he would fit the 3-4 well. Yeah, Patrick Queen. I don't know who said that earlier. Was that Amped that said something about Patrick Queen?
Yeah.
Hey, when we're talking about do they need to go for it? Do we want to see him be big spenders? Like when I envision big spending Cowboys, when I envision Jerry Jones unleashed, it's Patrick Queen. Sorry, get him in here.
Yeah,
you got to get stout guys. You got to. I mean, it's just the only way we're gonna be able to get to where we want to go. Yes, you want to be able to draft well, but you want to bring in top-notch veterans. When you think about guys like Deion Sanders, when you think about the Charles Haley's, you remember when they mixed with those young dogs.
Yeah,
y'all remember that. So y'all want to be able to get that, and I felt that with Stephon Gilmore and Brandon Cooks. I felt that, but it wasn't enough. But at this point now, you want to continue to keep bringing in veterans, just like all the rest of y'all said. Matt, Amp, bring in top-notch veterans and mix them with the good guys that we draft well, and that's how we can be able to take that next step. That's the energy I'm feeling.
Yeah, Amp said that the NFL trend is a circle and not a straight line.
And I'm going to steal that. That's a brilliant line.
Yeah, big physical linebackers will be back. You're right. But guess what? Those big physical linebackers will be they'll be hybrids. They'll just be bigger than everybody else. Like, Texas just got Thanos back from Alabama.
Thanos, who's that, bro?
Hey, man, he's a big kid from Duncanville. I got to remember his name. He's from Duncanville. But, I mean, he looked like he was a grandfather in high school. Like, he was huge. Like, I mean, he was a truck. I mean, a refrigerator. And at Alabama, he's been sitting. He had some injuries and was sitting behind some guys. Then he moved back to Texas. And those are the type of linebackers who run 4.5s, but they're like 6'3", 240, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Big, fast, and he's 6'3", 240. He's fast, he's long, and he can get into a hole and cause a collision. That's how that will be back, and I like that comment too.
Yeah, it's just like so. One of the things. So that I completely agree with Amp. Completely agree with everything you just said. But the thing about it is it's like this mold, this like modern like linebacker mold that like we're wanting to see now is like you're kind of describing like guys who they're gonna be playing edge, right? It's like if you're like 250 and you can run a 4.3 or you run a 4.4, like you don't want to play linebacker, right? That's not where the money is, right? Like you want to play on the edge. So it's like it's like linebackers, like you're trying to draw from that pool of players that have that same build as guys that are going to be playing on the edge and stuff like that.
But if you look at the 49ers, they have both. If you look at the 49ers, they got both, right?
Yeah, but it's like, so like where'd they get Fred Warner? He's like a 3rd or 4th round pick, right? You know what I mean? And like he came in the league like as an undersized guy. So it's like you just draft an undersized guy in the 3rd round.
Able to find him though, Tom. You finding guys like that in the 3rd or 4th round though, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, no, I get what you're saying. It's just like you just kind of got to get lucky and hit on one, right? Like I don't think anybody saw him become, being what he has become.
Man, I just feel as though, like, if we can be able to get another linebacker with Micah Parsons, we all know that Micah Parsons has the ability to be able to line up at the linebacker position. Yeah. You can put him at the right edge or the left edge. I mean, this guy's good, man. You can be able to have this guy, and it's so crazy. Throughout college, I've seen this guy blitzing between A and B guys playing that linebacker position. His closing speed is next to none. So hopefully Dan Quinn can be able to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? By now, you should think that this guy should know that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This guy is so good to the point where you can utilize him all over, man. And if you can be able to get, better guys in there, I can't wait till we get to these players, man. I don't know if anybody know about the new prospects coming in, but one question for you, Mod. Like, what do you think is the number one thing that we should target once we get to the draft? Like, is it linebacker, the Jeremiah Trotter Juniors, or what? What's your thoughts, man?
So I like Jeremiah Trotter. I like him a lot. But honestly, if we're gonna address something in the first round, to me, it either needs to be wide out or offensive line. We need to go there first, right? I do like Sweat from Texas. I do like Murphy from Texas, defensive tackles, and both of them I think will be available in the second round. And I wouldn't mind if you went O-line, D-line, first two out the box. I would not be mad. I would not be mad at all, because we've got to stop. We've got to keep, if we're going to keep these type of linebackers, we need to keep them clean.
Yeah.
Period.
Thanks.
So drafting a youngin like Sweat, who is just a train wreck. If you have not looked at Trevondre Sweat from the University of Texas, he's in the top three. There's a guy from Illinois, there's Trevondre Sweat, and then there's Byron Murphy, also from Texas. Top three defensive tackles in this draft. And I'm going to tell you, you won't go wrong with either three. All three of them are run stop.
Hey, Mod, it's so crazy though, man, because a lot of people, shout out to Ultra, he said Brian Thomas for LSU, wide receiver 24. See, I'm not really big when it comes down to the wide receiver at the 24, man. I just feel as though the trenches is so important. Like, because I think about the playoffs, I think about the run game, I think about the run stopping game. Like, I'm just so big when it comes down to linebackers, defensive line, offensive line. That's where I'm going to be hitting on. That's why I mentioned guys like Jeremiah Trotter. I know that wide receiver is very important, but when you think about this team and the CeeDee Lambs and you got the Jalen Tolberts, a lot of people have been raving about Jalen Tolbert. So why would we go out there and go get a wide receiver with the first pick? If you're telling me that you want a wide receiver with the first pick, then you might not believe in Jalen Tolbert as much. That's the thing. So that's why I say that when we get to these playoffs, the trenches matter. These guys set the tone, man, and that's what's going to open up these playbooks, guys.
You're definitely right. Who is Newton? I gotta tell me who Newton is. I want to know. I don't know the guy from Illinois' name, but I know that he's really, really good.
Newton's a defensive tackle. I don't know where he plays. That's just a name I've been seeing a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I don't follow the college game all that closely, and I don't really start doing any homework until after the Super Bowl. So as far as specific names and things like that, like I won't get started, for like another month or something like that.
We about to have fun, though. We about to have fun with it.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This is a good show, and I actually want you guys to come on my show too, because I'm actually gonna have some college all 22 clips. So I want you guys to really, so we can break some things down. So we're gonna start doing this more often.
Let's get it. Yeah, okay. So that's the guy from Illinois. I knew the guy from Illinois was like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He's like that. He's in the top three, and that's what you want. You physicality in the trenches is everything in the playoffs. That's what and coaching, physicality. You got to be that. And if we want to turn into a real championship contending team, not a pretender, we need to be physical on the O-line, physical on the D-line. And that's it, period, point blank. And I do agree with you, JC. If you believe in – it's just the same thing we were talking about with Fergie. If you believed in Fergie, you wouldn't have drafted another tight end. If you believe in Tolbert, don't draft another wide receiver. Address the O-line and the D-line, first two rounds. Let's get it.
And I promise you, I will find some good running backs in round 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. Don't take one day one.
Hell yeah.
So there's a lot of tackles. There's a lot of good tackles in this draft. There's a lot of good wide receivers. Obviously, we don't need a quarterback. Well, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that think that we do need a quarterback, but I'm not one of them. I want us to go best player available, wide receiver, offensive line, or edge rusher. But I'm going to secretly hope that best player available is a tackle. Like that's what I'm with JC on that. Like I want somebody in the trenches for sure. But I mean, if the best player there is a receiver, I want him to get him. Like you can't have too many good receivers in this league. You can't
Hey,
have
it's so
too many
funny,
good ones.
Tom, because I wanted Jordan Addison so bad last year. I was ready
Yeah.
for him so bad, dog. Because he's from my area, and I know his granddad. He was on my show. I wanted him so bad because I knew what he was going to be. I was trying to press. I made a hype video for him and everything. But yeah,
I missed
man.
on him. I was low on him. I missed on him big time.
Bro. I've been seeing him since Little League, bro. This dude is so good, bro. Yeah, that's why I made a video on him and everything. Yeah, but it's good.
He's a player.
Ultra Cowboys said we can't keep using first round picks on the O line. I mean, you know,
we keep drafting all pros. We can.
Yeah, but I'm about if we wouldn't have lost Travis. If we wouldn't have lost Travis and he wouldn't have retired so early,
man.
You know what I'm saying? We would still be like monstrous on the line. He retired early, man. We lost him early, and that was a dog. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, bro. Like, if you want us to improve our running game, Ultra Cowboy, guess where that starts? With the O-line and the scheme. The O-line and the scheme, it starts right there.
So let me ask you this real quick, Ma, because a lot of people were going back and forth with the whole running game. Do you think it was the offensive line or the running back, or do you think that it was both? Because a lot of things that I seen on all 22, I run a lot of all 22, bro. A lot of times the offensive line was not getting to the second level, bro. Soon as the running back got the ball, he was getting blasted. Just want to throw that out there.
Scheme.
Even though I got a lot of love for Tony Pollard, though. I got a lot of love for Tony Pollard, but at the same time, I think it was collective. It was
my answer is the play caller, the scheme. You found lanes sometimes when you called the right play at the right time. So it was like you shooting craps with the play caller. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was scheme, and then I do think also I blame some of that on Terrence Steele not being healthy and Chuma Edoga being trash. There it is.
Yeah, Chuma, yeah. That's why I say that.
It's a little bit of both, but I put less blame on Tony Pollard than I do the offensive line. It's like you said, like they weren't able to get to the second level, and like what happened in the Washington game whenever they were able to do that. And I know you can say what you want about, you know, they're having a lot of second stringers in. Deron played a lot of snaps, if I remember correctly. So like they had some dudes like up front, and Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass were getting to the second level, and Tony Pollard, he had a good game.
Bruh, I literally had a video, right? It's got like 20,000 views, right? Of Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass running all 22. Those guys were balling.
They were.
And the thing is, man, that's why, you know, it's so good to hear you, Ma, say that you got a lot of respect for guys like Will McClay. Shout out to him, because I mean, bringing guys in from Oregon and then Virginia Tech. I got some film on them, the guys. We'll break those guys down throughout the year, but because that can make a difference on like what we're going to do in the second and third round, guys.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just keep that in mind. So I mean, I did like what I saw from those two.
Yeah, I think TJ Bass might be able to play some center too. Like I think it's possible you could see him at center. And it could be Brock Hoffman too. I don't know, or maybe they draft one. There's a lot of things.
Brock Hoffman got a nasty streak, and I love that about him. He's nasty. Like
Brock Hoffman was a captain last year at Virginia, and he played that center position, who can be able to flex out at guard. Then you see guys like TJ Bass who can play that guard position, who played left tackle a plethora of times at Oregon. So you know Will McClay guys, they like guys with versatility.
Yep.
Yeah. So final shots, man. Parting shots while we're getting ready to get out of here, man. Give me your parting shot, man, from this show, JC, man. Tell me, your parting shot here.
See, the thing is, man, I'm so happy to have to be on with you guys, man. It was so great. This was such a good show. We should be doing more shows like this. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
We definitely going to turn up, because I mean we speak a lot of good football language, and it's great to see it, because when you think about this team, we know that the offensive line, the defensive line, this is what is going to get us to where we want to go. At this point now, when you see guys like Dak Prescott, we know that this guy's going to be coming back this year, Mike McCarthy and all the rest of these guys. The time is now. At this point, we're going to look at you this year, just like my man Ma said, with the side eye. At this point, and shout out to Maurice. What's good, Maurice? What's going on? Because Maurice is one of my close friends, and he knows that I am really big on Dak Prescott. But at this point now, bruh, let's go. Let's go. If you don't do it, then you just don't do it. We got to move on. But at the same time, we still love our Cowboys, and we're going to stick together as a family, y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. This was definitely fire, bro. Definitely fire.
Yeah, man. I loved it too. Tom, Parting shots.
Yeah. A lot of my parting shots are about Dak, and I'm not going to deviate from that today. Don't give up on him. He's not Pat Mahomes. I'm going to tell you, these are the quarterbacks that he is not. He is not Pat Mahomes. He is not Tom Brady. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Dan Marino. He's not John Elway, right? And he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have to be. This guy, he's a great quarterback. He's good enough. He has warts. Don't give up on him. I'm hearing a lot of talk about trade him, cut him, do this, do that, get a pick, and draft a quarterback in the first round this year. Look, I'm just asking. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of homework. Go back and look at the last 10, 15, 20 years. Top 5 picks. They hit less often than you think that they would. Yeah. When you look at what Dak's done in terms of like EPA per play, even just in the playoffs where we dog on him constantly, and you compare that to what a lot of these top 5 picks do in the regular season, I'm telling you, he clears them. He clears them. Like, don't go back into the quarterback wasteland. Like, you think we're in quarterback hell right now? You guys want to go back to Chad Hutchinson? You guys want to go back to Drew Henson? Like, is that what y'all want to do?
Quincy Carter? Y'all want to go back?
Clint Sterner?
Keep speaking, bro.
Y'all want Clint Sterner? Is that who you want?
It's not sweet. It ain't sweet. It's not easy to find quarterbacks out here, guys. It's not.
It's not.
So yeah. I mean, I knew the guy that we got in here, the young boy. What's his name? Third string, Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, but when you get out there in the gridiron, it's a whole different flavor. So Dak Prescott has what it takes. But remember, guys, we don't need that much from Dak Prescott. All he got to do is run the juggernaut. When you got CeeDee Lamb, when you got the Brandon Cooks, whoever's being a running back, Jake Ferguson, he doesn't have to do too much. Just run that juggernaut. If he can figure things like that out, then you can beat anybody you line up against, guys.
My parting shot is a lot along the same. We always hit it back, and it somehow always comes back to Dakota Rain. I will say this. I agree with both of you guys, man. What y'all don't see about Dakota is he's probably the best play action quarterback in the league right now. So if you gave him a running game to where you have to stop and think for a second, does the running back have the ball? Dakota would be nails. He would be so dangerous, right? If I'm the Cowboys and moving forward, what's next for us? We got to address the trenches, both sides. Both sides make us a better football team complete. We don't have to rely on the pass rush if we're stopping the run and getting penetration, right? So therefore, we make our defensive backs better. If your D tackles are getting penetration and stopping the run, that makes your defensive backs better and your linebackers better, right? If your offensive line is doing their job, getting to the second level, that makes your running game better. That makes your pass, your play action better. And Dak is able to cook at that point, right? But once you address those two, the offensive line, defensive line, and you do that, you've got to be aggressive in the offseason. This is the answer to where do we go from here? Be aggressive in the offseason, ultra aggressive. You're going to have to bring in some veterans to actually help the culture of this locker room. We lost our last alpha. Even though he whined a little bit, he was an alpha. And he's over there at Cleveland right now, showing you what he can do in some big floppy shoes.
Amari
Cooper. Saying? And that's Amari Cooper. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people don't think about that, though, man.
Hey, he's got his big floppy shoes on, and he was over there acting a clown. Now, does he whine a little bit? Absolutely. But he was an alpha, and he would tell you, I'm tired of losing. I'm not going to do this. I'm not out here to lose. I'm out here to win. And when people are here in their plush and they're sitting back in their plush chairs and they're sitting back in their nice little clean closets and we're the Dallas Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson took y'all behinds down here in Austin, Texas, in 100-degree weather, 100-degree plus, and made y'all run wind sprints because he knew that if you couldn't handle that, you couldn't handle the pressure that comes with being a Dallas Cowboy.
Big facts.
And we need to make sure that this team in 24 understand that they have a responsibility to us, the fans, their families, and the Dallas Cowboy organization as a whole, the people that went. Did you see all of the OGs speaking up? All of the OGs are disgusted.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That's why I say like building it inside out though, bro. That's why we're talking about guys like one technique, the 3 technique, just the interior, building that interior. Then you work on the linebackers, being able to stop the run, not allowing these defensive linemen to get to the linebackers. Little things like that, bro. I feel that energy, bro. That's why I say this was such a good show for real, man, because we know what it takes to, for this Dallas Cowboys to take that next step. They just got to go do it, brother.
Just got to go do it, man. We thank you for him. Hey, man, for our side, tell them where they can find you, JC.
Hey, man, JC Cowboys Network. Hey, listen, we turn up, y'all. Hey, listen, we do all the film breakdowns. We're growing rapidly right now. We kind of keep it low key, but I go on live sometimes, but we mainly create content. That's what we do, man. I sit back and chop things up. But all 22, if you guys want to see the Dallas Cowboys, college, all 22, anything that's going on with college, you guys let me know. I'll definitely break it down, man. We do some creative things over there, and I'll be glad to see y'all, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. We turn up on live streams as far as the JC Lounge. You already know what it is.
I love it, man. This is my guy, and you're definitely going to see us doing more shows together in the future. You're going to see us doing it. For myself, for Tom, and for JC, we'll see you guys. We out of here. Peace.